Impeachment is specifically addressed in the U.S. Constitution, but it might not have been if it weren't for two delegates from North Carolina, including the man some might call the original Tar Heel. The colonies had won the war for independence, but what that independence meant for Americans was still being debated. A constitutional convention would be convened with delegates from each state.
He was a very respected leader, knowledgeable in the law, had a statewide reputation.
Veteran of the Revolutionary War and North Carolinian William Davie headed to Philadelphia. As Article 2 of the Constitution and the role of the president was being hashed out, fellow North Carolina delegate Hugh Williamson moved that the president should be subject to impeachment. Davie seconded that motion.
He didn't say much in the convention, but he was very alert to what he saw as problems of misgovernment and wanted there to be some kind of remedy.
If you keep trying to put your finger on the name, William Davie is considered the founder of the University of North Carolina and laid the cornerstone of the first building in 1793. The same university Harry Watson teaches U.S. and North Carolina history today. Watson says the school's founder worried that if a president is not impeachable, then there is no security for their actions, and they may go to any means to win the office again.
If he tries in a corrupt way to get himself reelected, then that should be impeachable.
It would not be put to the test until after the Civil War. Andrew Johnson impeached by the House, but not removed from office by the Senate. Richard Nixon resigned before being impeached, and Bill Clinton impeached but remained in office.
Impeachment is one of the important levers we have to protect ourselves from being exploited by our rulers, and all of us should be very alert to that.
The Constitutional Convention, Davie included, made sure it would not be easy to remove a president, but the option, a cornerstone like he laid before at UNC, of democracy.
So much rich history in North Carolina. It's amazing.
And a lot of people have no idea, and I do want to make it clear, and thanks to Professor Watson for talking to us. He was just giving us some historical insight. He's not talking to us at all about his opinion or what he thinks may happen with what's happening currently in Washington right now. He's just looking back and the impact North Carolina had on the Constitution.